The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. And then he went away. Immediately the one who received the 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5. Likewise, the one who received 2 made another 2. But the man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back." His master said to him in reply, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I did not plant and gather where I did not scatter. Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I could have got it back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10. For to whoever who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth." The Gospel of the Lord. The Gospel of Matthew, more than the other 3 gospel writers, collects the stories of Jesus that warn of the coming judgment. And when you read Matthew's judgment stories, you learn that the outer darkness is reserved for those who refuse to forgive their neighbor, for those who do not care for the little ones, and for those who live unaware of the purpose in life. But this parable today issues a harsh judgment for a most puzzling offense. The man punished by the master for burying his talent in the ground said simply, "I was afraid. I was afraid." This baffles me because we're all afraid sometimes. In fact, sometimes it's a virtue to be afraid. When we're children, we're taught to fear things that will hurt us. A child does not know that a hot stove is dangerous, or a coiled snake, or a busy street, unless a parent teaches that child to be afraid. All of us have survived to this day because someone loved us enough to teach us fear. So why is this man in the parable condemned? Because of his fear. Beyond this, sometimes fear is a form of pleasure. How could this man be so severely punished because of his fear? Isn't fear one of our favorite emotions? When we're babies, the adults in our lives make strange faces at us and surprise us with a sudden outcry of boo. And we laugh in delight. When we're toddlers, the babysitter chases us around the house with a mock threat and a twinkling in her eye, saying, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. And we squeal with delight. When we're 10 years old, we go to an amusement park with a best friend. There we ride on the monster roller coaster that turns our stomachs and frightens us out of our wits. And we stagger off the roller coaster after the ride, and we turn to our friend and say, I was scared to death. Let's ride it again. So we run to ride it again, giggling with delight. When we were teenagers, we rent scary videos and we go to all kinds of Halloween-type movies. We love to have a little fear, don't we? And even adults will go whitewater rafting, and some will pay $1,000 to ride in a jet fighter aircraft or learn the craft of parachuting. Why? Fear is one of our oldest and favorite forms of pleasure. So why is the man in the parable condemned? Because of his fear. He's condemned, I think, because fear can become a theme in one's life. And this is the case with the man in the parable. His master gave him an important responsibility to invest and manage a huge sum of money. A talent was a unit of money equal to 15 years of a man's wages in those days. This was a great trust placed in the servant by the master. But his response was only to think of all the things that might go wrong. He missed every opportunity to expand his life, to live fully into the moment of trust given to him by the master. And in the end, it's not enough to give back what was given without loss. You and I know this man. We've seen him many times. It's the spirit of fear that resides in the boy who will not try out for the team because he's afraid he will not make the team. This fear lurks in the shadows of the girl who cheats on an exam for fear that she would fail on her own. Fear guides the one who lies, fearing the consequences of the truth. It's fear that shuts the mouth of Christian witness, withdraws the hand of Christian compassion, and intimidates the heart of Christian justice. I was afraid, the man said. I was afraid. And that fear made all the difference between a life lived with risk and joy and service and a life wasted and buried. God have mercy on the person, the nation, or even the church whose opportunities are lost by excessive fear.